Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the HPC number CE-500IC. This is the tip or attachment for the 6000 cylinder eater from HPC, which allows you to take that tool and drill for small format interchangeable core. There are different attachments or adapters for the cylinder eater, the 6000, that will allow you to take that tool, which gives you the drill bit and the ability to set the depth, the part that you're connecting to the drill, and then align it for different formats. So let's take a look at the adapter tip for the 6000, the 500 IC. And here it is. Here's the front end of the unit that you'll see when it's positioned in the cylinder. Here's the backside. What else is in the package will be the drill bit. I believe it's 5/32 of an inch. We'll confirm that. And this is what you're going to use to be able to drill out not only the control shear line, but also the cylinder retainer. The control lug is what it would be, or the retainer that holds the cylinder. I think we'd call it a control lug. And you have holes that are here for that purpose. The drill bit will go here, it'll go here, and we'll show you how that works. Just a real quick dimensional property of the item, and then we'll talk about what it is. Diameter of the adapter, about 1 3/8 inches. Thickness of the unit, looks like it's about 5/16 or so thick. The length of this 5/32 drill bit, about 3 1/8, and we'll include the adapter, the drill bit, and then the installation instructions. Now, let's talk exactly about how you're going to use this. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Before we get to the how, let's talk about the why. The why is because you have a cylinder that is in a lever, a mortise housing, a rim housing, a knob, and you need to get it out. And a means of destructive bypass like this are the only means available to you for doing that. The issue with this is that you are going to destroy some of the pins that are obviously in the cylinder. You'll preserve your bottom pins, the control, because you're drilling the control shear line, you're going to be destroying parts. There's to be no doubt about that. So that's the downside of this. The point is that you'll get the cylinder out, you'll be able to bypass the lock. That's the upside. The downside is you won't be able to use that cylinder effectively to then decode what keys operated it. You could probably come up with a bitting that would operate it, but that may prove to be ultimately not everything that you need to know. You'll be able to potentially determine other keys that may work the system, but this method of bypass would cause that to be problematic, to be able to decipher what was passing through that cylinder. But this will get you in at the end of the day. Knurled circumference, because this will be used as a tool, and I'll demonstrate that. Well, we'll discuss it in the installation instructions. So now, speaking of the installation instructions, let's talk about the how, and let's switch to the screen view and look at the installation instructions and the extended description supporting documentation. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at. Let's first take a peek at some images that we have down below. There's the unit and its packaging, the contents. That's the back side. Here's the front side. This is shown in the orientation when you're going to drill the control shear line and not the control retainer. This gets rotated 90 degrees clockwise to do that, which is why you've got a hole here and a hole here. That's for the drill bit. Then you have a hole here and a hole here for the tool, when you're drilling the control shear line. And then when you rotate that, this will then, now you're looking at your control shear line here. Just imagine that this was the keyway here in the cylinder, in the core. This would then be your control lug, your retaining lug, and this hole here and here is the holes for the tool. So that's why it's like that. All right, let's look at the other images. There's your drill bit showing the tip, 5/32 indeed. Okay, now let's take a look at the extended description. 1/2 inch, that's going to be a reference to your effective plug diameter. Replacement tip for the cylinder eater, the CE 6000. We click on that and we'll be able to pull this tool up. So you're clearly going to need one of these. Okay. I don't know that I would try drilling it without. I think you'd damage the tool. Different tips and adapters are available for this, for obviously doing different units. Okay. Now, that link is there. Actually, it was a neat little infographic that was running here, showing how it's run. Drill position, control shear line, and control retainer, or the control lug. Industrial drill bit. Now there's a table down below that allows you to see in one consolidated format all of the accessories available for it, and you can click on these links and get to it quickly. If a video exists for the item, it'll be in this column. Okay. Now let's switch to the installation instructions, or the user instructions, which are included. Pretty simple and straightforward once you've read it. So with all of these cylinder eater operations, you need to have a key, a modified key that is in the tool itself, because that will allow you to insert the cylinder eater adapter tip into the broaching of the cylinder plug or the core. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a key blank for the cylinder that you are drilling, and you're going to basically cut the bow off, but make a very nice clean cut with it, because that is then going to be inserted into the adapter tip. There are a couple of set screws. Well, you know what? Let's just go in order. So take a compatible key blank and insert it into the lock. Do not use pliers to break it off, because you need to fit this into your tool. Step 3, insert the key blank into the guide. Make sure the blank is placed in the slot to line up with the control shear line and squared up both horizontally and vertically. You're going to need to basically be mindful. Once you have the blade of the key blank in the adapter tip, which, by the way, first you're going to have to loosen the set screws. This does not come with an Allen wrench, and I'm not sure what size it is. I'm sure it's Imperial, though. You'll loosen those set screws. You'll note that there's a roll pin here. That's going to stay in place. But the set screws you'll have to back out a little bit. And once you've got those screws backed out, you'll then be able to insert your blank that you've created, which will act as a guide to go into the broaching of the cylinder plug or core. Again, you'll note, as I was saying a moment ago, you'll note the roll pin that's there. That's going to stay there. You loosen those screws and you'll slide it in. However, as the installation instructions tell us, getting it aligned and vertical and correctly, getting the blank correctly secured in the fixture so that the fixture is in correct positioning is something that you'll have to accomplish. The positioning of the blank and tightening of the set screws. Once you have that done, place the guide blank assembly onto the cylinder eater. You'll note they have a horizontal orientation here and a vertical orientation, which we had discussed earlier. Control line is horizontal. control lug is vertical. And basically what it does is repositions the tool so that it is then hovering over the correct positioning on the face of the core itself. So that explains, why so, because you can see the face of the cylinder here versus here. Control line, control lug. What they want you to do in step 6 is to set the depth using the drill set when you push it in to the appropriate depth as to the length of the blade of the key blank, so that you're not over drilling into the lock. You obviously want to minimize damage as best as possible. The issue, however, is that you're going to probably end up damaging the lock a little bit, because that control lug where you have to drill, there's going to be some bleed over of that drill bit. Anyway, so you want to set the depth so that you don't, add insult to injury when it comes to how deep you're going to run that bit into the trim. Drilling the control retainer, place the cylinder eater onto an electric drill using the position for control retainer drilling in 6B, which is here. We're going to do control retainer, so vertically on the tool. The tool will be vertically oriented vertically. Tighten the drill chuck, locate cylinder guide into the lock cylinder, align the cylinder key blank assembly carefully into the keyway. Using even, steady pressure, drill forward through the control retainer line. After one complete pass, you may need to repeat that. Then turn your tool horizontally. Place the cylinder eater onto the electric drill using the position for control line drilling in 6A. Tighten the drill chuck. Again, repeat the process. Now, before you do anything, remove the cylinder eater, but leave the adapter in place, and then turn that clockwise 15 degree, and that should pull back what's left of the control lug, and that will allow you to pull that out. Changing the drill bit, should you need to, is here. I don't know that I have a link to the replacement drill bit, but I will look to add that to our table if we don't have it. And there you go. That's pretty handy to be able to review that. Actually, we do. Drill bit is right here. Drill bit for the CE 6000. Okay. Now, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page as seen here, where you can pull up not only all of the HPC products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And other encyclopedic documents are here as well, such as their depth and spacing data. So based on the depth and spacing data, we wanted to, we're doing small format in this video, so let's take a look at a Best Falcon Arrow A2. So what they're giving you is the depths and then the spacing. So what they're saying is your first cut, tip stop to the first cut is 0.088. Then you'll note that there's 150 between each of these successive numbers. That means the center to center of each additional cut is 150 thousandths. Then they give you the depths. This is measured from the bottom of the blank, the root, to the bottom of the cut. And that's why a 2 has a larger number than an 8. Because an 8 is a deeper cut, there's less metal there. What I'm saying is these are measured here are your cuts. Okay, so this is a very deep cut. You're measuring here. That's the 8. That's the 2. That's why the 2 is bigger, because there's more metal there. Very helpful, handy documents. Here, the product catalog, if you know the name HPC at all, you probably do for their 1200 series Blitz machine, which is a tool used to originate keys by code, and is right here. an X and Y axis type of machine with a code card principle. Not the only people to have ever made a machine like this, but they're the one everyone knows. Kaba Ilko also made one. Fromen has their key cutter that is literally based on depth and spacing data. You just turn the dials and set it and then create the cut based on the depth and spacing data. Okay. Great catalog to review if you've not reviewed it. Because they don't only make key machines, they make key software. You need to determine bidding lists for projects that you would work on. The HPC Code Wizard, it might be called, or Key Wizard, Code Source, is certainly considered, Master King is what they call it, is certainly considered entry level. It's probably going to be the least expensive that you can purchase of something that will be relatively easy to use. There are other solutions that I'm not extremely familiar with, but I'm aware of them. There's an open source option, and then there are several options well beyond the cost and capability of this machine, of the Master King software, of which I'm not an expert, but I could point you in the direction of an expert who can act as a value-added reseller for that software. Lock picking tools, other instruments in the service of clients' material. And here's our cylinder eater section. Okay, right here. And then the additional tips. Other information is back down here as well. Security hardware, key cabinets, key organization, things of that nature. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. In conclusion, it's nice to have a tool like this that will allow you to, this is considered destructive means of bypass. You're drilling the cylinder out, you're destroying something. But the difference between drilling it out and getting the job done relatively efficiently and then drilling it out and it's still not coming out is measured in having a tool like this. The bottom line is you can possess the knowledge of where to drill, but you may not be able to get the drill on the face of that exact point. Or you may not have the knowledge of where to drill. I've seen someone need to drill the cylinder out, and they literally took a 5/16 drill bit and then just drilled into the cylinder plug. That was completely ineffective because they weren't drilling the shear line to get the cylinder to rotate. All they did was make it far worse at that point. So this tool not only drills the hole the correct size in the correct location and minimizes the collateral damage that would occur. So, locksmithing tools are not inexpensive. They never are. And it seems like you need a tool just for one job. Literally, you need one tool. You need to purchase a tool just for doing one type of core. And then there's 8 other adapters that they make for the cylinder eater. So it's just another tool, another tool. I know. I have, a lifetime's worth of tools that I've accumulated because there are many tools to do one job, but there's always one that does it best, or at least better than the rest. And then you end up acquiring that tool if you do any sort of volume over it. If I was going to drill one cylinder, I would probably consider this required because of how difficult it would be to get the drill bit placed on the location where the control lug is. This allows me to line that up. Anyway, that's my opinion about that. My opinion about HPC, excellent company, always responsive when it comes to technical request inquiries, and for that I say thank you. Any questions on the CE 500 IC or any other HPC product, please feel free to reach out to us, and thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.